This is my audience. How many of you recognize this? What about this one? Or maybe even this one? I'm sure you all recognize it. It's social media. How many of you in the audience have a social media account? If I had to take a guess, probably every single one of you have at least one social media platform, whether it be business or personal. Today I'm here to inform you of the dangers of social media, especially when used excessively. Social media is an aggressively growing platform that is intended to connect ones with their family, their friends, and acquaintances all over the world. Unfortunately, many are unaware how dangerous and unhealthy excessive use of these platforms can be for our mental well being and our relationships. For the next 8 minutes or so, I'd like to share with you the rise of social media and how negative it affects us. What is the first thing you think of when you think of negative social media? Maybe viral video fights, massive bullying, spreading of rumors and gossip, or even exposing cheaters. Yes, I would too. Because all of these things are obvious negative behaviors that can be seen on social media. But without taking a deeper look, we don't realize how negatively affected we are by social media. First, let's go back and examine how social media has increased over time. In an article by Pew Research Center Social Media Fact Sheet, it states that today around 7 in 10 Americans use social media to connect with one another. When Pew Research Center began tracking the adoption of social media use in 2005, only 5% of American adults used at least one social platform. By 2011, that number had risen to half of all Americans, and today a whopping 72% of the public uses some social media platform. Keep in mind, this is an example of adults 18 years plus. So this doesn't include the many young ones who seem to dominate some of the social sites, and they seem to get younger and younger. As more and more Americans have adopted social media, the spectrum of who uses it has spread to a broader population. Young adults were among the earliest social media adopters and continue to use these sites at high levels, averaging as of last year at 90% of Americans 18 to 29 years old. But usage by the older population has increased in popular in recent years. Staying below 15% between 2005 and 2015, research shows that adults 65 plus have increased to over 40% as of last year. Now let's dig into the negative effects of it. Social media is harmful to a healthy mental wellness. Okay, at this point, many of you are thinking, how? Well, consider this. In the article, Mind Your Mental Health, it brings out that mental health is more than just the absence of mental illness. It includes how you adjust to life events. And characteristics for good mental health does include feeling good about yourself and not becoming overwhelmed by emotions such as anger, love, jealousy, and anxiety. Now take a moment and think about it. How many of you find yourself scrolling on your timeline and begin to feel sad or envious of how someone looks or what they have, or better yet, what you don't have? We may even feel unaccomplished and find ourselves wanting what we perceive others to have. Now, of course, this doesn't apply to everyone. But when you are constantly watching individuals showing all of their money and all of their spending and their fancy vacays, or how about their perfectly curved bodies, or their perfect skin or hair, or better yet, how amazing their love life is. Only the most impenetrable person can not be at least a little inclined to look at themselves or their lives and say, man, I wish that were me. This ultimately wreaks havoc on our self-esteem. Now, we all have our fair share of insecurities. Some we choose to speak openly and others we choose to keep to ourselves. However, when we unconsciously or even consciously compare ourselves to others on social media by stalking these aesthetically perfect Instagram photos, this will do little to alleviate our feelings of self-doubt. In fact, a study conducted by the University of Copenhagen found that many people suffer from Facebook envy. That's actually a thing, guys. While those who abstained from using this popular site reported that they feel more satisfied with their lives. Dr. Tim Bono, author of When Likes Aren't Enough, explained when we derive a sense of worth based on how we're doing relative to others, we place our happiness in a variable that is completely beyond our control. That segues me to my next point. Social media ruins real life relationships. First, you've lost the moment. What do you do on social media? You share moments of joy, of friendship, humor, and beauty. Ironically, though, in your quest to connect virtually, you disconnect from the reality and the people who are in it. You lose the experience of happiness in the process of trying to refine your smile for public consumption. It's also addictive and self absorbing. Picture this: you're on a vacation in a place you've never visited, surrounded by beautiful and exotic things. What is your first thought? Let me capture this moment. While nothing is wrong with that instinct, it's what we do next. We immediately want to post our favorite form. Then we find ourselves checking for likes or comments. So instead of deriving pleasure from your experience and the people around you, your device becomes your main source of pleasure. Unwittingly, it makes you less connected and more narcissistic. And with that comes a roller coaster of emotional highs and lows that are caused by, get this, obsessive attention seeking. Trust me, that's actually a thing as well. Ironically, social platforms were created with intentions for people to connect with others, but it often makes you feel isolated and obsessed over the appearance you're making, the response you're getting, and the impressions you're giving. Authentically connecting with others does have some benefits, but self-focus, on the other hand, is associated with anxiety and depression. Also, one study found the mere presence of a cell phone while two people are talking interferes with their feelings of closeness, connection, and communication. In the article Psychology Today, it reads, "We are profoundly social creatures wired to connect with others. But if you allow your device to interfere with your conversations, you undermine your own ability to connect with others. So in theory, social media, the tool that is designed to connect us, in reality, acts as a barrier." So let us review. The use of social media has grown increasingly over the years. The use, or better yet, the overuse of it, is harmful to healthy mental wellness and ultimately can ruin real life relationships. So to conclude, our reliance on social media can have a detrimental effect on our mental health and relationships that can result in an unhappy and isolated feeling. Please, ladies and gentlemen, understand that I am not encouraging anyone to give up their social media lifestyle. I just want everyone to be aware of this silent killer that is vastly and quickly growing, but is slowly debilitating to us in the long run. Thank you.